Welcome to Channel 14 News. You're watching the newscast. I'm Adam Morgante.
And I'm Gwen Napier.
The Lamplighters Touring in Choir Chorus hosted a concert for the campus community on Thursday. WCTV's Michael Leith has more on the story.
Last Thursday, the Waynesburg University Lamplighters Touring and Concert Choirs held a joint concert outdoors under the chapel parking lot tent.
We have two choirs here at Waynesburg University. The touring choir is an auditioned group of singers. It's usually a smaller group. And this year we have 15 singers. And in that group, we typically learn all sacred music, and we spend a lot of time during the semester, although not this semester. We spend a lot of time traveling to churches on weekends and nursing homes in different places. But of course, right now, that is not possible. A little bit about the concert choir. It's a larger group. This year we have 33 members. And the singers come from all different backgrounds, and they don't have to audition to be in that group. And it's a one-semester commitment. In that group, we usually do collegiate choral repertoire, standard repertoire for choir.
A faculty member accompanied both choirs on keyboard.
Our accompanist is Dr. Sora Lee. She teaches piano instruction here at Waynesburg University, and she is a doctorate in collaborative accompaniment from WVU, and she is amazing. She is a concert pianist on her own right, and we are so grateful to have her as our accompanist for the Lamplighter choirs.
The choir performed several songs, including The Blessing, Is He Worthy, and Armistice, a song that alludes to the Spanish flu.
It just had so many connections to what we're going through now with COVID, and I thought it would be appropriate to just explore those ideas of the last time there was a worldwide pandemic. And it's a song of rejoicing that things will get better.
For WCTV, I'm Michael Leith.
Waynesburg University's annual Day of Giving is coming up this Thursday, November 12th. To get students ready for the big day, SAB hosted a coloring contest last Thursday. Tim Durkin has the story.
On Thursday, November 5th from 2 to 3, the Student Activities Board held a coloring event in the Beehive. Students were able to choose a picture to color for a chance to have their work displayed on the Day of Giving. The Day of Giving is a fundraising event for the university happening on November 12th.
So SAB planned the coloring contest with institutional advancement for the Day of Giving. So we have the coloring contest and also a cookie decorating contest that students will be able to enjoy prior to the Day of Giving, just as events leading up to the Day of Giving.
This is what one of the students had to say about the event.
I wanted to go to the coloring contest because I thought it was going to be really fun. I know I don't have the greatest skills in coloring, but I knew I could maybe win, maybe not. But it was more or less just to hang out with friends and just have a great time coloring, because it's something we can always do, and it's better than just sitting in my room a lot of the time.
Be sure to remember that the Day of Giving is happening on Thursday, November 12th. Tim Durkin, Channel 14 News.
Even though fall sports were postponed, Waynesburg athletes are still meeting up through the campus organization, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, to discuss faith and sports. WCTV's Dylan Cleland has the story.
Typically, you wouldn't find a basketball, soccer ball, or any other type of athletic equipment inside of a chapel. But tonight's different. It's a Monday night, and that means Fellowship of Christian Athletes is meeting to discuss two of their passions: sports and faith. Meeting each Monday night at 9, FCA members gather to break down the impact of faith on their lives. With the recent COVID-19 pandemic, many of these athletes have looked to God and their faith to help them through these trying times.
Being a senior, it was kind of frustrating because we were ready to get back into it for the fall, but it's been it's kind of an inspiring way to grow as just an athlete, but kind of reach out to the freshman players because they have a whole different situation.
These last 8 months, as everybody knows has been crazy. But I think it's been a really good time. For me personally, just getting a break from the typical schedule of sports. You know, that's kind of dominated my life the last really 18, 19, 20 years. And so to be able to just kind of have a change in pace and change in, you know, just having that time to relax and really focus on other things that I haven't been able to really focus on too much before has been a really nice change.
After spending 3 years learning about Christ in sports, people like Maddie, Steven, and Jarrett are now a part of the leadership team at FCA.
As a leader, just try to like organize as a one with the team. I have a like leadership team here with Steven and Maddie, and also Kylie and a few other athletes in Waynesburg. I just like sharing the gospel. I just like doing lectures for FC has a different topics for each years, and I kind of like, you know, give them, hey, like let's serve 100% and let's like sacrifice, and then let's bring it as a team. That's all I do. I mean, I do the learning first, you know, running a little bit of social media as well.
Ever since freshman year, we kind of rebuilt the leadership team for FCA. So we've been kind of there since the end of freshman year. So 3 years in the leadership team.
FCA Waynesburg has created quite a unique bond around campus between the school's different teams and athletes.
With so many of these athletes, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, so many of their seasons getting cut or, you know, shifted to the spring. It's a lot of uncertainty, and I think it's important to be able to come together as we've been doing, even if it's, you know, socially distanced, trying to do that to the best of our abilities. And yeah, really just lean on each other because, you know, we're all athletes, we're all missing out on you know, seasons, practices, games. We're all trying to do the best we can, but I think it's really important that we are able to come and do things, play little games, or just kind of dive into the Word and see, you know, just kind of the power Christ has. And you know, as I said, he's had it planned out, and so just trying to find comfort in that, reassuring each other and kind of comforting each other along the way.
Kind of diversity that you don't get normally on campus, because we're all kind of in our little pods from people we know at classes or people we are on teams with. So this is a great way for athletes to come together and dig into their faith a little bit more, relating to the competitive side.
Just the community that affects like we are the family. Like just playing sports could be very competitive with each other, but outside of the field, we're definitely friends, family, and then we are one of a big community. But inside of it, on the field, we are definitely like friends and family, but still we want to like, hey, like let's get better, let's play better together as a family aspect. It could be even different team. We are, hey, good job, like you played really well like last week and yesterday. There's just like encouragement, like you can do it in a, like outside of, you know, outside of field, and also different like, you know, sports. That even football team can say, oh yeah, you guys did an awesome job. That aspect, that family, and then build one team, even different team.
It's something to all to come together for a focus. Instead of just competing against each other, I like to say being competitors for Christ. So finding ways to focus on Him, not just through our athletics, but kind of incorporating it in while we're like doing our work off the field.
Whether it's in the gym or the chapel, Fellowship of Christian Athletes is always welcoming new members. For WCTV, I'm Dylan Cleland.
This past weekend, Greene County residents grabbed their roller skates and headed to the rink. After undergoing renovations, Monview Roller Rink reopened its doors to customers on November 6th. WCTV's Lindsay Stinger was at the scene.
In Mapletown, there's a hidden gem that residents have been rolling up to for the last 70 years. Recently, the Monview Roller Rink underwent a much-needed facelift.
We had to fix the floor and the drainage in order to put in the air conditioning. So that will be finished by the end of the year.
The additions will help extend their season and, in turn, generate more revenue.
As far as Parks and Rec go, this is the most profitable entity that we do have.
Prior to the coronavirus pandemic, the rink was a popular hangout for generations. even for those who don't come here to spin their wheels.
You'll notice some of the kids, they don't have skates on. They're just hanging out with their friends.
The shutdown presented a perfect opportunity for a makeover.
This was planned either way. This had to be done. But with COVID, it gave us a little bit of extra time to get it finished.
The roller skating rink here at Monview Park has been closed since March, but as early as November 6th, they'll be back to work so the public can start rolling back in. It's been more than 20 years since the rink was last renovated. The total cost this time, just over $50,000. For WCTV Channel 14, I'm Lindsay Stinger.
That's all we have for campus and regional news. When we come back, we'll have news from around the nation.
Afternoon, President Trump announced he has fired Secretary of Defense Mark Esper. Trump posted that Esper was terminated but thanked him for his service. A senior defense official says Esper prepared a resignation letter weeks ago amid mounting tension with Trump. According to the president, Christopher Miller will take over the role in an acting capacity. Miller most recently served as the director of National Counterterrorism Center. While many of us were focused on the presidential election, the COVID pandemic refused to take a break, and cases skyrocketed across the country. But an announcement about a new vaccine has many encouraged. Camila Bernal explains.
COVID-19 rages at a pace the United States has never seen. There have been more than 10 million cases of coronavirus in the country.
These are very big numbers nationally, and it's accelerating very quickly.
But there may be a breakthrough. Pfizer says early results show its vaccine is more than 90% effective.
It's a very important day for humanity.
The vaccine requires 2 doses, and more study is needed to determine how long immunity to the virus lasts. It's also not clear when the vaccine may be available to most Americans. But when it is, Pfizer CEO says it will be free.
It's coming at a time that the world needs it the most.
President Trump tweeted his excitement, saying such great news. And President-elect Joe Biden also pleased but cautious.
This vaccine, even if approved, will not be widely available for many months yet to come. The challenge before us right now is still immense and growing.
After attending a briefing with his new COVID task force, the president-elect has one message: to take the politics out of the pandemic.
We can save tens of thousands of lives if everyone would just wear a mask for the next few months. Not Democrat or Republican lives, American lives.
In Washington, I'm Camila Bernal.
Pfizer's vaccine isn't approved yet by the FDA. The drug maker says it plans to seek emergency use authorization, but it must wait until participants are studied for a certain amount of time after receiving their second dose of the vaccine. The company says that milestone should be reached later this month. In Mexico, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said today that he wants to wait until U.S. authorities decide the winner of the presidential election. During his morning news conference, López Obrador cited the Mexican Constitution, which establishes non-intervention when it comes to other countries' politics. He said his government will act with prudence and wait. López Obrador said Mexico is not against Republicans or Democrats in the U.S. and that his party is Mexico. The European Union will impose tariffs Tuesday on up to $4 billion worth of U.S. exports. It's the latest development in the fight over subsidies to aircraft manufacturer Boeing. The European Commission's executive vice president made the announcement on Monday. He cited what he called a lack of progress on the U.S. side of the dispute over state aid to Boeing. The World Trade Organization ruled last month that the U.S. failed to comply with international regulations when giving Boeing subsidies. It all comes after a similar ruling in favor of the U.S. over subsidies given to aircraft manufacturer Airbus by the EU. That ruling resulted in the Trump administration imposing tariffs on billions of dollars worth of European goods. The European Commission Executive Vice President says both sides should now drop the countermeasures.
Panama is suffering serious damage after being struck by Tropical Storm Eta. At least 17 people have died as of Sunday evening, according to the Panamanian government. At least 68 people are missing. More than 2,500 evacuees are staying in shelters across the area. Eta has caused many floods and landslides across Panama. The government declared a state emergency and allocated $100 million to handle the crisis. After a week of celebrations, the Biden-Harris team is getting to work. The president's-elect team has planned to tackle top priorities starting today. Meanwhile, President Trump has yet to concede the race. Karen Kaifa is still in Washington this morning with a recap of the weekend's events and developments.
After a weekend of celebrations, President-elect Joe Biden plans to assume a role as healer-in-chief of a nation struggling with the coronavirus pandemic and its economic consequences.
He's done it in his personal life through unimaginable tragedy, and now he's going to do it for the American people.
With many of President Trump's supporters unwilling to accept last week's results, Biden, in his victory speech Saturday night, extended a hand to those 71 million Americans who did not vote for him.
I've lost a couple times myself, but now, let's give each other a chance.
Some members of the Biden-Harris team approaching the challenges of this transition like those during the one between George W. Bush and Barack Obama in 2008, when the nation was mired in the Great Recession.
This morning, the Biden team announced a 12-person coronavirus task force.
What I can tell you right now today is that Joe Biden is going to make good on his promises on the campaign trail.
Meanwhile, as President Trump shows no signs of conceding and continues to make baseless accusations of electoral fraud, the Biden-Harris team and even a few Republicans are ready to move on.
I don't think we're going to see anything that's going to overturn this election, and I haven't seen any evidence of widespread. You know, this is the way our system works, whether you like it or not. It's time to get behind the winner of the race.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Police said a group gathering and marching in Salem Saturday became an unlawful assembly. People began to gather after the announcement that Joe Biden was projected the winner of the presidential election. Most of the people were protesting the results of the election in what they are calling a Stop the Steal rally, when the group was met by counter-protest. Oregon State Police said they made 2 arrests near the Capitol as 2 groups began to clash. OSP said troopers were made 1 more arrest for the disorderly conduct and interference later in the evening. America's largest retailer is teaming up with the Salvation Army to provide holiday assistance to people who have fallen in poverty. In addition to the traditional bell ringers and red kettles outside of Walmart, there will be an opportunity to give inside at the cash register. Walmart will offer customers the option to round up their purchases to the nearest dollar and donate the difference to the Salvation Army. The charity promotion is also available on Walmart.com and through the Walmart app. It's the first time Walmart has offered customers the chance to round up the donation to the Salvation Army in both stores and online. Salvation Army angel trees will appear in many Walmart stores, giving shoppers another opportunity to give to the children in need. Celebrities like DJ Khaled have joined the cause on social media with the hashtag #RescueChristmasChallenge. That's all for national news. Next up, we'll have Rebecca Bond with the business and entertainment. But first, here's Brock Owens with the weather update.
I'm Brock Owens with Channel 14 News. It may be fall and leaves are on the ground, but the last week of weather hasn't been like that at all, and today is no different. Today's high is 77, and tonight we'll get down to 61 degrees. But as we all know, the weather in Pennsylvania can change in an instant. More on weather coming later in the newscast.
I'm Rebecca Vaughn, here with your business and entertainment news. It's still an unproven transportation system, but a futuristic high-speed vehicle tested in Las Vegas on Sunday is being viewed as a success according to company executives hoping to market it one day to consumers. Mandy Gaithers tells us more about the Virgin Hyperloop in today's Consumer Watch.
It could be the future of high-speed travel if proven safe and successful. Two Virgin Hyperloop executives took the first ride in the vehicle on a test track Sunday.
The first passenger test has now been done of the first new mode of transportation, mass transportation, that we've had in 100 years.
The still unproven transportation system is a vehicle in a vacuum tube that uses magnetic levitation to reach high speeds. The technology that's been around since the 1970s lifts a train car above a track as magnets push the train upward and forward. The company's CEO says it could potentially slash travel time.
I'll give you an example. Columbus, Ohio to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, if you took any single person in Columbus and said, how far away is Pittsburgh, everybody would say 3 hours. With Hyperloop, that's less than 25 minutes.
The company says their Hyperloop pod only reached 100 miles per hour on the track rather than the 600 miles per hour that Hyperloop advocates have long promised. But executives say its test track is 500 meters long, limiting how fast the pods can now go. The company says Hyperloop pods can travel at the speed of aircraft, but with a fraction of the energy consumption. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
It'll be years before the public could potentially take a high-speed ride on it, but executive testing the view a test of the technology on Sunday as a major milestone and a step towards commercializing the technology. The store of the future. No, there aren't any robotic cashiers or some kind of high-tech wizardry, but the folks at Rite Aid are bettering their new store design with the pharmacy up front. It's going to be a big hit with the shoppers. It's why they're calling their new store in Moscow, Pennsylvania, no, not in Russia, the store of the future. Not only are the pharmacies up front instead of in the back, like most stores, there's also a wellness room where consumers can schedule a visit with a licensed clinician. There's a third store of its kind for the chain, and there are plans to open 2 more next year. It comes at a time when drugstores are seeing some hefty competition from online retailers, and people are making fewer trips to drugstores because of the pandemic. McDonald's outlined a new strategy Monday in an effort to boost sales. The plan includes capitalizing on consumer trends that strengthened during the pandemic. The burger chain is introducing new packaging, a new loyalty program, and is working to improve drive-through and delivery services. McDonald's will try out new concepts like automated order taking and express pickup lanes for people who place digital orders. McDonald's is also rolling out improvements like toasty buns and an enhanced grilling approach for hamburgers, along with new menu items. Already, McDonald's has seen success with its spicy chicken nuggets, which launched in September. McDonald's says it will also be launching a new crispy chicken sandwich early next year. And now a look at the top stories making headlines in the world of entertainment. Douglas Hyde has the Hollywood Minute.
Please be a cape. Please be a cape. It's a wrap.
A new trailer is giving fans their first look at the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. The animated adventure finds Rey and BB-8 on a time-traveling holiday adventure through key moments in Star Wars history. The fun begins on Disney Plus, November 17th.
What do you say, Ref? No, it's not me. People make recognize my face.
Borat 2's subsequent movie film is having a very nice run on Amazon Prime. The comedy premiered 2 weeks ago and is already the second most watched streaming film of 2020, according to Variety. It trails only Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical Hamilton, which debuted this summer on Disney+.
That test you passed? Not everybody does. Welcome to the afterlife.
Director Christopher Nolan had hoped most audiences would see his latest film Tenet on the big screen. But with the pandemic keeping many away from theaters, it now looks like a lot of them will be enjoying it from the comfort of their own couch. The sci-fi epic is set to debut on 4K, Blu-ray, DVD, and digital rental services beginning December 15th. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
That's all from your latest in business and entertainment. Up next, we have Brooke Fuller with sports. Okay.
Yeah. 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night means one thing and one thing only. It's down the hollow. You're just
We
wrong.
have the catered.
Cause a little goes something like this. I'll be in the back of the club. Hey y'all. Just follow after me. Gonna do the two-step.
I don't like it. This is your fault.
We bring the ye and the haw to Wednesday nights.
On this week's Waynesburg Spotlight, Bruce Davidson has more on junior cross-country runner and track athlete Gloria Reed.
This fall, there were no sports competing in the President's Athletic Conference due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Although it has taken away the opportunity to see them in action for now, the downtime has provided a chance to get to know more about our Waynesburg athletes. The Why Choose Woo Athlete Spotlight Series gives details about who they are behind the scenes, their family life, and the journey each student took to get to campus from all across the country and the world. This week features Gloria Reed of the women's cross-country team. Reed is a junior from Missouri City, Texas, about 20 miles southwest of Houston. Head coach Chris Hardy had this to say.
I love working with her. I love her personality. She really thinks about the team first in a lot of the things that she does. So to me, that's really important. And I think she's a really good teammate and somebody I look forward to coaching each and every day.
Reed earned first-team All-PAC honors after finishing third on the team at last year's Division III Mid-East Regionals. After graduation, she hopes to commission in the Air Force or go into business. To read the full story and other spotlights, visit theyellowjacket.org. For WCTV News, I'm Bruce Davidson.
A game between two teams once thought to be premier Super Bowl contenders heading into the 2020 season, the Pittsburgh Steelers traveled to Dallas to battle the Cowboys on Sunday. Looked to remain unbeaten on the season, the Steelers jumped out to a slow start. This led to 0 points throughout the first 4 possessions, trying to remain in the NFC East hunt for their playoff hopes beginning to slip. The Cowboys jumped out to a 13-9 lead heading into halftime. Battling back into the second half, the 14.5-point favorite Steelers entered the fourth quarter down 10 points, but came back as Ben Roethlisberger shook off what looked to be a potentially serious knee injury to throw a late game-winning touchdown to tight end Eric Ebron, his third on the day. Neither James Conner, Deontay Johnson, or Chase Claypool scored in the favorable matchup, but the Steelers became 8-0 and remain atop the AFC. For the 17th season in a row, the Steelers have finished without a losing season. It is the first time in franchise history that the Steelers have won their first 8 games of the season. The record, which was set, replaces the 1978 Steelers, who began their season 7-0 and went on to win the Super Bowl XIII over the Dallas Cowboys. The Steelers will host the 2-5-1 Cincinnati Bengals at 4:25 on Sunday. Less than 24 hours after the Steelers defeated the Cowboys, the Steelers had announced Vance McDonald tested positive for COVID-19. The Pittsburgh Steelers announced on Tuesday morning that they have placed 4 players on the reserve COVID-19 list. The list of players is headlined by Big Ben, who is joined by offensive lineman Gerald Hawkins, running back Jalen Samuels, and linebacker Vince Williams. Each one of these players will be isolated for 5 days according to the team and will not be permitted into the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. They are permitted, though, to take part on virtual meetings throughout the week. The NBA season hasn't been over for a month, yet we're 3 weeks from the beginning of the training camp after the League and Players Association agreed on a 72-game season that begins December 2nd.
Number 4, Notre Dame shut down top-ranked Clemson with a couple of sacks to seal a 47-40 win Saturday night. Kyron Williams put the Irish ahead with a 3-yard touchdown run in the second overtime. Notre Dame broke Clemson's 36-game winning streak within the ACC. The Tigers had not lost a conference game since 2017. The 2021 NCAA basketball season gets underway in just 2 weeks, and there's finally an AP poll. Gonzaga takes the top spot in the preseason rankings, followed by number 2 Baylor and number 3 Villanova. The still reigning 2019 NCAA champion Virginia Cavaliers start the season at number 4, and Iowa checks in number 5. The Big Ten leads all conferences with 7 ranked teams, followed by the Big 12 with 5 and the ACC with 4. Kansas, Wisconsin, Illinois, Duke, and Kentucky take spots number 6 through 10. Something to keep in mind though, 3 of the last 6 men's college basketball national champions were ranked outside the top 5 in the preseason AP Top 25 poll, including 2 that were outside the top 10. Pitt Panthers basketball will start league play on December 16th with a trip to Miami, one of 3 December games in their ACC slate this season. The Panthers' ACC home opener will be December 22nd against Louisville. Notre Dame, Florida State, Syracuse, Duke, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, NC State, Clemson, and Wake Forest will also come to the Peterson Event Center this season as part of the 20-game ACC season. Next up, we have Brock Owens here for your weekly weather forecast. This week, it might return gloomy and rainy weather we've seen throughout October, but stay tuned to find out our likely chances for this week.
Have you ever been to the Everly Library? If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies like Frozen, or TV shows like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing though. Take a trip to the 2nd floor. Welcome to the Writing Center. These tutors will tell you everything you need to know about writing a paper, and they'll help revise your essays. Now let's head back down. Behold, the Knox Learning Center. Need to print something out 5 minutes before your next class because you procrastinated? No problem. You can also print off pictures of dogs. Because, well, you can. So grab your homework, laptop, and textbook, and study diligently. Bring your lunch too. Actually, you can't. That's illegal. Now you know the Everly Library. Stop by anytime. Seriously, it's open all week.
I'm Brock Owens here with your full 7-day weekly Waynesburg weather forecast. Today is pretty much the same as it's been for the last week. The high is 77 degrees and the low is 61 degrees with the sun out and the rain staying away. That will change tomorrow though, with showers expected throughout the morning and afternoon. Tomorrow's high is 68 and the low will be down to 45. Thursday starts a trend of weather you'd expect to see in the fall with a 56 degree high and a 37 degree low. Friday's high is up a little at 59 degrees, but the low will be a freezing 30 degrees. Rain isn't expected Thursday or Friday. The weekend has a higher chance of rain at 25% Saturday and 35% Sunday. And the temperatures for those days are a 53 degree high and 39 degree low for Saturday, and a high of 58 and low of 32 for Sunday. And looking into next week, Monday is projected to have a high of 55 and low of 32 degrees, and cloudy, but rain isn't expected. And the rest of the week has similar highs, all in the 50s or high 40s. Once again, I'm Brock Owens, and that does it for your weekly weather.
Thank you, Brock, for that weather update. And Glenn, with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, there's always seems to be a debate on when the appropriate time is to listen to Christmas music. So when do you think people should start listening to Christmas music?
Personally, I think I listen to Christmas music all year round. I think just if I'm in the mood for it, I just listen to it. So you can definitely start listening to it now. What are some of your favorite Christmas songs?
Probably All I Want for Christmas Is You is up there. Anything by Michael Bublé. He's just such a great singer. I wish I had a voice like him, but I'd have to disagree with you. For me, you have to hold off with the Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. I think Black Fridays, when you can blare as much Christmas music as you want. I just think celebrating Thanksgiving needs to be, you need to do that first and then hold off on doing Christmas music and singing to that.
Well, thank you for tuning in to today's newscast. That's all we have. Be sure to catch us next week at 5 o'clock.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.